Welcome to another episode of Mind Your Business, the podcast. My name is Abby, and each week I will be chatting to a different independent business owner about the story behind their business journey and how they built their brand. Enjoy the episode. So welcome back to another episode of Mind Your Business. Now this week I'm joined by Gill, who owns Dribble, the app, parenting app. So, hi Gill.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome. Happy to be here.
Yeah, so why don't you kind of tell us a bit more about Dribble, a bit more about what you do?
Dribble's a child friendliness app. It helps parents find places to go and things to do with their kids. And we sort of focus on personalisation, so you can create a profile for yourself based on what you like and what your kids like, and you can find places to go and things to do that are really suitable for your family.
Right. Wow, that's amazing. So how did you kind of get started? What led you up to launching this business?
Well, I'm from Fife originally, and I was at Edinburgh at uni, and then moved down to London for about 8 years. And when I came back, I was pregnant with my first child. So I kind of came back into the city, leaving Edinburgh as a student, coming back as a pregnant mum to be. The world that you're looking for is completely different. Obviously, a lot of changes in that year, but also the places that we went in were quite different as a mum to a student. And I didn't really feel like I knew my way around. And because I'd been, most of my adult life had been down south, when I came back up, I didn't really feel like I had a full group of friends up here anymore. I mean, I still had a lot of good friends that I had from before, but none of them were at the same stage of life as me where they were about to have kids. So it was a bit of an unknown. And I loved, when I was on maternity leave with my first Alistair, just rediscovering the city, walking around, finding places to go with him, going out in the buggy, getting out of the house made me feel like I'd achieved something in the day. It was really good for my mental well-being to just get out the house as a new mum. But then I'd walk around in the city, and Edinburgh is an amazingly child-friendly city, but when you first go to like Old Town and things, then there's loads of little cafes that are downstairs that are not buggy friendly. That you're like, am I going to have a baby change in there? And also, as a new mum, you can sometimes feel quite vulnerable and anxious. You feel like, am I doing the right thing for your baby? But you feel like there's eyes on you all the time and stuff as well. So I often found like I would be going somewhere and I was thinking, am I going to be comfortable here breastfeeding, or are people going to want a screaming baby in this place? And a lot of like the hipster cafes and things, you feel like actually people don't really want you there. And it is a little bit of a frame of mind, but I felt like I wanted somewhere that I knew was going to be really child friendly and would be really welcoming for you. And also places to find and meet new mums and a new kind of group of people at that stage of my life. And I didn't really find what I was looking for. There was a couple of things, but there wasn't anything that what I really wanted was something. I thought there would have already been an app that did it, but I really wanted there to be something that I could just pull out my pocket and find somewhere near me that could answer the questions of, does it have a baby change? Does it have buggy space to get in? Are kids welcome? And as Alistair started to grow, so did my list of questions. And it was like, well, now that he's bigger, he's not happy to just sit in a buggy. He wants to be entertained. I have to find soft plays. What are soft plays? Where are they? I'm sure it's not something that's on your top 10 list of places to go.
No, I can imagine it's like trying to find those places is difficult.
And then play parks and things as well. So I thought there would have been really something that answered it, and there wasn't. So my previous life, I'd been a management consultant. So I'd done a lot of project management work and business analysis and things, and I'd worked with a lot of technical projects, but I'd never created an app before. The consulting firm that I worked with latterly, they had an incubator scheme, and they were just kicking it off actually when I was kicking off Dribble, and they sponsored you to give you some startup funding, but also more than that, it was also helping you shape the idea and shaping a business case. So I thought, you know what, I'll see if they're interested in Dribble, and they were, and we were the second business, it was the third business that they sponsored, so kicked it off, and that was really good for me, kind of just kicking it off, helping me get started. It just kind of grew from there, really.
So when was that?
So Alistair was born in 2015, and it was on my mat leave with him that I kind of really came up with it. But we kicked off in earnest in 2017, and then I was pregnant with my second Rachel at the time, and I thought, well, you know what, I'm going off maternity leave again. That'll be a great time to really kick it off, quite naively actually, because I thought with just one, and Alistair was such a good sleeper, I had a lot of free time when I already had a toddler on the go, and then a newborn, and kicking it off.
That's a whole
slightly naive kicking it off then, but you know what, we managed it. I was lucky that my mum and dad were both semi-retired and were able to give me quite a lot of support with childcare, and they're quite nearby, which was a godsend really.
So that was 2017.
That's
really?
2017. So, but then it's when you're creating an app, it's a long time in the making. So that was when we kind of really started kicking it off. So we had to do the what's it going to look like, finding an app developer and all that kind of thing as well. So we didn't launch until November last year.
Right.
So November 2018.
Yeah, so quite new still.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine that's a huge undertaking. Like starting a business is hard enough, but having like an app, that's
it was, and it wasn't something I'd ever really had that much. I hadn't had any experience in creating an app. I'm not techie, as I mentioned briefly. I've done a lot of work with technical projects, so I used to work with some businesses to help them improve their systems and things.
Right.
But I was never on the technical side of it. I was more on the business side, kind of helping them work out what they wanted and making it happen, working with a technical partner. So when I decided to do the app, I thought, I'll give it a bash. I had to find an app developer to work with me, so that was kind of my first hurdle, was finding an app developer. I also went through Scottish Enterprise and got a grant with Scottish Enterprise, which was great to help off with initial funding as well, because creating an app's not cheap.
No, that's a big undertaking, isn't it?
So I had to find a local partner, and I found a lovely local partner, and they were really bought into the project, so they gave us a good deal as well, to help us get kicked off. And I think they thought it was going to be quite a good learning project for their team, so they bought into it from that point of view as well.
No, that's amazing.
So that was what the first hurdle really was, to find the app developer and somebody who would kind of be in with it, in it with you.
Yeah, because I'd imagine there's quite a lot of different people out there, but you finding the right person that sort of aligns with what you're doing.
Yeah. But we're lucky actually in this part of Scotland that there's a lot of startup businesses in a similar vein, and there's also a lot of technical houses like web developers and app developers as well. So there was a lot of choice, because I wanted somebody on the doorstep. I wanted to. One of the things that was the ethos behind me creating Dribble was to help parents, but also to help local businesses. I really wanted to kind of help parents find something to make them feel less anxious when they were going out and about, and know what to expect before they got there. But for local businesses as well, I realised that when you find some local gems as a parent, you want to go and support them, and you want them to do well. I saw quite a few businesses that were great for parents that ended up closing their doors, and I'm sure that was more than just people not knowing about them, but I thought actually if people are aware of them and know where to go, then you can support them. So in the same vein, I wanted to work with a local app developer, so I could see the whites of their eyes, but also kind of from a local. Yeah,
if there's like any issues, you kind of can go and see them directly.
Yeah.
So I know you have like a lot of different businesses, like you say, the independent businesses on the app. So was that quite a big process to kind of get them all?
Yeah, it was actually.
Yeah,
so we had to do. I mean, that was the thing. That's why it took us quite a long time from kicking off in sort of October 2017 to launch in November 2018, because we had to design and develop the app beforehand. But that's only the one side of it. There's, like you say, the database of businesses that's behind it. So I created an online group on Facebook to try to. It was almost kind of like my test bed of parents, and that the aim behind the group was just to help somewhere to find places until the app was ready, but also as a group of parents to help put input into the app for things like the database, which I'll come on to in a minute, but also the design of it as well. So that was kind of my first port of call, and then I asked people if they would want to be a little bit more involved, to come along to things like focus groups and stuff like that. And I created a group of what I called super users, and I pulled together a big list of places I knew about, but I asked people in the group what they would recommend. We started off in just Edinburgh itself, and also a bit of Fife, because I had the background in Fife, and you know some places as well. But our main start off was Edinburgh, and so we just basically pulled together a big database from what people had said. I wanted it to be very parent recommended. It wouldn't just be like opening up Google Maps and you see everything. You would only. I'd rather have seen 5 places that were really parent friendly than 50 places that. Actually then you turn and it's not really what you want you're wanting. So we thought we'll just start off with a small group of places on the app that we know have definitely been recommended by parents, and parents like them, and we just expanded from there. So I think initially when we kicked it off, we had, was it maybe 400 venues, and now we're up at like 1,200 across central belt of Scotland. Really. So, it's good. That's amazing. So it's been a kind of combination of people suggesting places to us, people, because we had the Facebook group, people could put it in there, but a lot of people just sent us their list of stuff as well. So that's good then. And then and it's now live in there that people can add it themselves. Right, so if people have like extra ones, do they kind of get added on then? Yeah, they do. Yeah. Wow. And we also did. We've worked with a couple of sort of the like councils and things as well. We've got all of the libraries in Edinburgh on there. We worked with My Park Scotland to get all of the parks in Fife, Edinburgh and Lothians on there, and quite a few in Glasgow as well.
Yeah.
So we've worked with some sort of organisations to help us get information.
Right. Yeah, I wondered that if you actually like work with the places, or is it just like recommendations?
So it's mainly recommendations, but we wanted to work with some of the independent like kind of parks and stuff, so we could get all of that on, because we didn't want to just have paid for places on there, like places that you have to go. We wanted free places on there too. So,
and did you say people can kind of filter that when they go on?
Yeah, they can filter it. So there's a filtering section. So the main part of the app is either a map, and it shows you what's near you now. We call it Near Me Now page, or plan ahead, and you can say, so we say you were going to Glasgow for the day, but you're from Edinburgh, you can put Glasgow in, and then you can find it and either look at it as a map or as a gallery view.
Yeah, that's amazing though, because sometimes you go out for a day and you just wander around, you have nowhere, like even me without kids, you wander and you're like, what do I go?
Yeah, where am I going to go to? Somebody actually said that to me recently. They're like, when are you going to do an adult version? I was like, no, one step at a time.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. So we've kind of touched on that you had to do a lot of work getting the app looking the way you wanted it to. So on the branding side of things, was that quite a difficult journey, or did you always sort of have a vision?
So for the logo itself, actually, our app developers had a sort of marketing agency bit as well, and we were like, we need to create a logo, but we don't really have a budget for it right now. Can you just kind of create a little bit of a temporary logo for us? Because we were going to do a bit of full-on branding work with them, but we didn't really have the budget because it's a startup, everything's really lean. So they did a temporary logo for us, but we actually quite like it, so we just kept it.
Yeah, is that the one you've got now?
Yeah,
it's
just our temporary one. We might upgrade it in the future. Yeah. But I did have an idea of kind of what I wanted it to look like, and we did work with them on that as well. So because we didn't do kind of full on branding exercise as such, but because they were creating the graphics within the app, we kind of talked about how we wanted it to look. We wanted it to look sort of child-friendly, the app itself, but not childish. Yeah. We wanted it to look fun, but clean. So we had to look through other apps and app brand designs and things that we liked, and sort of filter through, this is what we like here, this is what we don't like. We had to look at other apps that maybe work in a similar way, but they're for different things. The likes of Airbnb, which is a similar concept. You're looking for something, you're searching for it. And we thought, what do we like about certain things and what do we not like? So we kind of created a bit of a sort of, I guess, a brand manifesto without it being an official one. And we wanted there to be little logos on it, quite a lot of iconography in our designs, and we wanted it to be sort of clean with child-friendly colours, but we didn't want it to be garish or like we're patronising the parents because it's a childish app.
No, I think you got that perfect, because it is bright and colourful, but like you say, it's not like a child. It doesn't look like it's for children. Like it's nice and clean. And
cute. I'm quite happy. I'm happy with what we've got. I do feel like it works well for what we're all about. But as I say, we might update our logo in the future, because that was just the temporary one.
I would never have known that was temporary. I was going to say I love your logo with the colours. So where did the name come from? The name Dribble.
So that was actually really early on. When I was just coming up with it. Alistair was tiny at the time, and I remember buying from Amazon before we'd actually kicked it off. I had no funding or anything, and I sat in the living room with my mum, my brother, and my brother's girlfriend, and I was like, right guys, you're over here tonight, we're going to do an exercise here. I had a flip chart that I got from Amazon and some post-it notes, and I was like, let's come up with loads of names of things that remind you of kids. And my mum suggested Dribble, and it just kind of stuck because I liked the just dribble it or I'll dribble it as a phrase. And so dribbling people think of with regards to like drooling as a kid, but some parents also think of it from like dribbling a football or dribbling a basketball. And one of the dictionary definitions of dribbling is constantly moving, so we thought of that as like parents are constantly trying to juggle things, and I just quite like the phrase just dribble it as well. So it just stuck from there really.
So was there any other ones that were kind of seriously in the running? What were some of the other suggestions?
I think there was a few, to be honest. I can't actually remember off the top of my head. There was a few, and I was like, oh, but actually there's something similar to it that already exists. But that was one that was just really quite early on, and I called it Dribble as like a working title, and then never changed it, because we actually did a bit of that was sort of my working temporary title as well. And then I did some work with some parents in some of the workshops and stuff that I did, and some of the focus groups. And a few people gave us feedback that they thought it was just for little kids, because we cover all the way up to age 13. And they thought it was for just sort of like, it would signify just smaller kids. But then other people thought, oh, I've already taken to the name, I think you should just stick with it.
Yeah.
And like, people will get used to what it means overall. They won't be fixated on something small. So branding and naming is a big deal.
It's so hard, and it's hard to do it at the very start before you've even really got anything. You have to think about.
So we had to go down the route as well of looking to see if it's something that we could trademark quite early on as well, and whether there was we could get domain names. So that all kind of fed into it. And when I worked out that we could do that, I mean, there is another company called Dribble that's got 3 Bs. It's like graphic designing kind of kind of business. So they're quite big, but there wasn't anything in this space, so we were able to trademark it in the areas that we needed to trademark it in.
Yeah, because that is such a big thing, getting all the social media handles and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So how did you kind of go around like building up your network of like people online? Was that quite, because you've got quite a big community online?
Yeah, we do. I think it was just like word of mouth, really. People that I knew that had kids kind of got them to come along, inviting other people. So we've just sort of built it on from there. I've got the Facebook group, and it's been a real source of knowledge for us with regards to both putting the businesses on there, but getting feedback from the app itself. A lot of the people who came along to our focus groups were people from there. So it has been a big part of us building it, because we've done the app and the designs quite iteratively, and getting feedback from users, what they really wanted was really important to us. They didn't want to have like a final design and actually it's something that people would never use. So it has been really important to us, but at the same time we didn't want it just to be about the group. So we haven't recently kind of put a lot of effort into growing the group size. I'd rather that it was a useful group, whatever size it is, rather than it being huge.
Yeah, sometimes when it gets too big, it can be...
and then it just becomes like that's all it's about, and it's a huge maintenance job as well, trying to curate the group all the time. So our main focus is the app itself, so that's been kind of just a bit of a sideline. If it grows and continues to grow, and I want it to do well, because I like that we are kind of an online community as well, and people can get to meet each other through it in real life, because we've had meetups over the summer, and we've got breastfeeding meetups that we run on a regular basis too. But I do think that the community is a sort of more of a side part than the app.
So were you sort of building that up before the actual launch of that?
Yeah, so I launched the group. So I think we formed the company Dribble in October 2017, and I think I must have kicked off the group the month before that or something like that.
So you kind of documented that journey to like launching. I think people like that, don't they? They like kind of seeing things grow.
And actually a lot of people who were part of that group really felt quite proud when it came to the end of it. So a lot of the people in the group got like kind of test versions of the app, so they almost helped us to grow it too. And we've got some super users and brand ambassadors that have been kind of with us from the beginning, and like their little ones are almost the same age as my oldest, and they've sort of been through it from being like a newborn mum all the way up. So they've helped us really shape it as we go. So
that is so nice. That's a real community.
Yeah, it's really nice.
That's
I like
so
it.
Nice.
And I've made a lot of friends through it as well, actually.
Have you? Yeah, because you are like kind of finding other mums, and like you say, that was your struggle when you moved back up here, kind of finding people. No, that's amazing, and you'll be doing that for a lot of other people. We run a breastfeeding meetup for mums on a monthly basis, and one of the reasons that we did that was there was a cut in NHS support for breastfeeding support groups. So we just kind of created one as a peer-to-peer support group. And a lot of people met each other from there, and I've met some mums through it that my little ones are friendly with and things now as well. So it's quite nice. Oh, that's nice. That kind of so is it hard for you to juggle, obviously having 2 little ones and running this?
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't a juggle. And there's definitely times where Dribble's been like, it's been at a peak of activity, and therefore you're at the end of your tether, because you're kind of like feel like you're failing in a lot of aspects. You're failing in business, you're failing in mum life, don't even get me started on how often I see my friends sometimes at the moment. I think it's every mum's and parent is in that sort of vein anyway, but it is a juggle to try to make everything work, and I don't think you can't be perfect at anything all the time, because you're not superwoman, you're not you're not able to fire on all cylinders constantly, so it's just a balance of trying to make it work. I think I'm getting more there now. There's definitely been times when I've found it really, really hard. I'm lucky that I've got family support nearby. My husband's really helpful, and I've actually found a good group of mumpreneurs that are in the same boat who are trying to manage a business and manage kids at the same time.
Yeah.
So you know that you can get tips from them and things as well. Yeah.
So do you kind of, as a lot of the work goes on when the kids are in bed? Or?
Yes, yeah. So when Rachel was really little, my youngest, and I was on maternity leave with her, it was, in some ways at the beginning, it's actually easier because they sleep quite a lot.
Yeah.
So I could do something when I was feeding, and I could get things organised, but I do it at night time. My kids are not the best sleepers, so sometimes it takes them a wee while to get down.
Yeah.
And that's where I found I was struggling recently, because the kids would go down, then I'd be working, and I'm like, well, when am I giving time to my husband? Or when am I getting a chance to see any friends? But I think you have to just go, this is temporary when you're kicking stuff off. There's peaks and troughs, enjoy the troughs, and I do try to always have a Friday as my day with no work, and it's just for the kids.
Right, so you take that.
Yeah, and we do a lot of stuff at the weekend as well. So Monday to Thursday, I've got kids in nursery. My mum helps out quite a lot with them as well. My husband's mum helps out sometimes too. So I'm lucky that I've got that support around about me, and we do have some nursery time. So I try now to do as much as I can do during the day, and then have a bit more time with it at the weekend. It's just balancing, and I think you just have to prioritise as well. I'm lucky that because of the line of work it is, I go out a lot with them to parks and things. It's all part of the brand anyway.
Yeah, so do you kind of do a lot, like going on days out and
we do quite a lot
places? Yeah, that is good.
We sort of keep our time special when we're like family time, and I feel like then I know what I'm talking about because it's part of my business. And,
you're actually going out and enjoying these places.
Exactly.
That's amazing. Yeah, so obviously you're kind of a year in from launching. So were there any sort of little bumps along the way that you've kind of learned from? And
yeah, there are.
I can imagine starting something.
It's not always that simple. So one of our major ones that we had was our app developer went into liquidation. They'd been running for 35 years, and as an app business, obviously, and they're working with us. That was a huge one. So that was it makes you realise that you have to be flexible in your project plans and like what you're planning to do, managing budgets and things. That's a big one, because it pushed everything out. We had a finite amount of money which we had to make last longer because some of the stuff that we were planning for and things. So I feel like I've been learning constantly. It's probably been the most rapid learning curve I've ever had to deal with. That, and also being a new mum, but yeah, did that answer your question?
Yeah, no. That must have been a tough one.
It was, yeah.
To have that right at the very start. So
that was about a year and a half in, so we were lucky that actually where we were at the time of, there wasn't a lot of work that they'd started that they were halfway through. They were almost like a pause in our project, which was quite lucky for us, so we could then kind of crowd off.
So you actually got what they'd already done.
But that was a whole process that I didn't even know kind of really existed, about liquidation and all of that kind of thing that I had to learn about. So it was tough, and then we were like, this is a huge risk to our project, and when we didn't even have on our risk register or anything like that. So because there's always things when you start running a business that you don't know how to do. So did you know how to do all the financial side of things? And my husband is actually an accountant. As his background doesn't work fully in that anymore, but I was lucky that I had that support there, and because I'd gone through the incubator through Gate 1, they had a lot of support that they could kind of give us on with regards to creating a company. And I also worked with Business Gateway at the beginning, and I had a great advisor through Business Gateway who was good at giving us like business plans and things to think about. So I've pulled on a lot of different support levers that I didn't know personally myself, but I tried to work out who could give me the advice. So I knew that I was never going to know all of the answers. So I had to try to just surround myself with people who could help me.
That's good though, because there is always advice out there. It's just kind of finding it, and especially something like this. Like, it's not just a small business you're starting. Like, this is like,
I know,
massive.
But then that's the issue as well, that there's so many different veins to it that I've been like, I need to think about that, and I need to think about that. So sometimes it can feel a bit overwhelming, but it's good.
So did you ever kind of think that you would end up owning your own business at one time? Was that always a dream? Or
I guess it has been. I didn't expect it to happen when it did. I think when I went off on maternity leave, it was the first time in my life that I'd kind of really taken a step back and not thought about, okay, what's the next phase, if you know what I mean? So this is a completely new journey, and I felt like I almost felt quite creative when I was on maternity leave, because I had a year off in my head. And I was just thinking about I felt like my brain space opened up quite a lot, and started thinking about things in a new way. So I kind of felt like I became quite creative there. But my family are I've always had small businesses.
Right.
So I think I probably always did feel like I was going to work for myself at some point. I just didn't think it was going to be then.
Yeah, sometimes it's like that, It's when you least expect it, it kind of starts.
It's that one idea and I feel quite passionate about it, so I'm going to pursue it. So.
Yeah, no, that's good. I think when you have one of those ideas, you've got to just run with it. That's amazing. Yeah, so do you have a sort of master plan for the business? Do you have like an idea of where you want to go, or is it just keep going?
Well, ideally we do want to cover the whole of Scotland,
right.
And if we move down south in the future, that would be great too. But one step at a time, really. I don't want to run before we can walk, and I also do want to balance it with my family life. At one point, I thought, we can take over the world, but actually now I'm like, there's other things that's important to me too, and I want to make sure that all of the different parts of my life are working in harmony with each other. So we would like to expand to the whole of Scotland, because I think Dribble also comes into its element when you're not in a local area. So as a new parent, everything's new to you, but then you start to find your feet and you start to get used to some places. But for example, if I'm going through to Glasgow, I don't know Glasgow, so it's good to be able to go, okay, I've got a resource that I can take out and find inspiration for places to go from Glasgow. We actually were through a couple of weekends ago and had a great day, and we did use Dribble ourselves to find places to go.
So you're through in Glasgow already?
Yeah, we're basically across the provincial belt. Right. Edinburgh and Glasgow, we've got most coverage in Edinburgh, we've got quite a good bit of coverage in Glasgow, a bit of coverage in Fife, and a little bit up to kind of Perth and Dundee.
Wow.
But, we're taking it slow.
No, that's exciting though. Take over the country. So I was wondering if there's any kind of places at the moment that you're loving the most, that you think people, maybe if people are venturing out for the first time in Edinburgh, is there any you'd recommend?
A few suggestions. So local ones to myself, I'm in East Edinburgh. We love Portobello. I think it's a really child-friendly area. Edinburgh's seaside. They've got soft plays, they've got 3 play parks and loads of nice child-friendly cafes, as well as the beach and the promenade itself. So there's something for all weathers. I love it down there. And depending on if you've got any kind of allergies or food requirements, you can find all of that in the app as well.
Oh, so that's all there as well. Oh, wow.
That's all in there. So there's something for everybody in Portobello. I love that. We actually also live really near to Holyrood Park, and I think that's great for an active day out. There's so many different walks you can do depending on how active your children are, how adventurous they are, if they want to scramble all the way to the top, or if you're looking for a wheelchair or buggy friendly walks. There's loads of them around there too. I love going over to the different lochs and the ponds within it. You can kind of make a day of like seeing different bits and pieces round about, or dropping down into Duddingston for the Sheepseed pub. But some other places, like my little boy is such an adventurous and active little boy. If I don't tire him out throughout the day, he won't sleep at night time. So I'm always on the look for energetic things to do with him. We've got a couple of good partners that are working with us that have sort of adventure parks. So Amon Valley out in Livingston, Fort Douglas and Dalkeith Country Park and Connie Fox. They're great days out for the kids, and there's places to eat there as well. So great family options. And I was mentioning it was through in Glasgow recently. We've got some lovely places through in Glasgow. Glasgow Science Centre. We went to Riverside Museum, which is a big free museum for transport. It's a great day out with a big tall ship next to it.
I think I know. I love free museums. There's nothing better than a free museum.
And we've got Historic Scotland and National Trust passes. We like them as a family, so you can just kind of go out and it's kind of already paid for. And the National Museum of Rural Life is a really good one out in Glasgow. So it's like a working farm, but it's also got like a farm museum attached to it as well. It's
Oh my god, that's amazing! That's so many recommendations.
I've got at the top of my head at the moment.
No, they're amazing. So why don't you kind of tell us a wee bit more about all the stuff that you can find on the app?
So on the app itself, I mentioned briefly that there's a map or a plan ahead section, that it's eat and drink or play and do. You can find both. So places to eat and drink, child-friendly cafes, pubs with play areas, restaurants that have got good kids menus, and I mentioned about the dietary requirements. Play and
really
do.
Helpful there, having that on there.
Play and do. You've got inside, outdoors. You can find free things. You can filter on that, and it's got the map based on it as well. We've got. You can also kind of personalise it to yourself and create your own profiles, so you don't have to enter in information all the time. You can say, I'm travelling with my child Joey, and they're in a buggy, or the baby change requirements, so it remembers you. And we've also recently added in events, so you can find events and classes that are running
Oh,
and
wow.
services too. So they're newer additions to the app. So if you're looking for a hairdresser or a photographer, we've got those in the app as well.
Oh, wow.
As well as some offers. So a lot of our partners provide offers, money off coffee or discounted entry into places as well.
Oh, that's amazing. So they give you kind of special offers
Yeah.
when people use it. That's amazing. So this is a wee section then that I call check them out.
Okay.
So if you have any businesses that you want to give a shout out to,
Yeah.
feel free to do as many as you want.
Oh, right, okay.
I love hearing about. I love getting all the
So
recommendations.
some other local businesses that are run by mums nearby that I'd recommend. So there's a business called Yummy Keys, run by a local East Lothian mum, and she creates stainless steel toys and jewellery for kids. So her concept came from her youngest, or I think it was her middle child, always wanted to play with her car keys, but car keys are dirty. You don't really want your kids sucking them. So she created a stainless steel version of them, and she's doing really well.
Yeah,
She's
that's
doing
amazing.
amazingly well. A great business to follow, and I love her ethos as well. Again, building our business around families. Another business I'd recommend is Beetroot Sauvage. They're a plant-based cafe in Edinburgh. They've got a little a child kind of corner in it as well, and I love their ethos around trying to provide sustainable food. They've got a yoga centre above it. It's a really nice cafe to sort of stop in. And I'm not a vegan, full-time vegan, but I am trying to be a bit more of a flexitarian, and I love their options. They're of lovely tasty cakes and food. So
That sounds amazing. Any more, or is that, have you got, are you
done?
well, the last thing is for you to plug yourself. So
Okay.
where can we find you online? Where can we get the app?
So you can download the app from both the App Store and Google Play. You can find us online at www.dribble.co.uk, and both app download links are on there. We've got blogs on our website as well, and at the moment we've been running a story series of Journey to Parenthood, sharing a lot of different parent stories on how they became a parent. Some amazing stories on there, some of them that will completely bring you to tears, and some will give you loads of inspiration. So a lovely series of that. We're also on Facebook and on Instagram at Dribble_app.
Amazing.
So come and join us.
Yeah, and I'll tag you obviously, and I'll tag all the people that you mentioned as well. So people
Fantastic.
can find you.
Thanks,
you.
Abby. Enjoyed the
thank you
chat
so much.
today.
It's been so interesting. Thank you so much for chatting with me.
Thank you.
And thank you for listening, and I'll speak to you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Mind Your Business. If you're not already, be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter at Mind Your Business Podcast for updates on future guests and behind the scenes look at what we've been chatting about in this episode. See you next week.